Ekwensu ada ngwolo. Ekwensu ada ngwolo. This next character served me breakfast. In fact, I've never seen someone act so terribly in a long time. I must say, Ada Omo Daddy is not. We have a lot of questions. Ladies and gentlemen, it is always a pleasure to be here. Welcome to the Nollywood Insiders. My name is New Heaven Abraham. Today we are reviewing an interesting Nigerian movie, Ada Omo Daddy. Well, in case you don't know, Omo in Yoruba means baby. The movie is a Mercy Aigbe's production. Initially, it was a cinema movie, and before I could get myself together to go see it at the cinemas, I realized, oh, it is now on Netflix. So the movie Ada Omo Daddy basically talks about a young lady named Perosola Balogun, who is from a very rich home. She has the mother, the father, the brother, the sister, something we can call a perfect home. Yeah, she's engaged, did her traditional wedding, and then she receives a call one day that, oh, I'm your father. The person who you claim to be your father is not your real father. She receives some proof. At the time, she had just taken over her father's wealth, the father's company, that's the adopted father's company. And she wasn't aware all her life. She didn't even know that this person she's been calling daddy is not her biological father. So the movie basically talks about all the drama that comes into trying to locate her real family, and then also speaking to the family that she grew up with and wanting to know why nobody told her that she wasn't the biological child of the home. And a lot of overreactions here and some overreactions there. That's the storyline. Now let's talk about the characters and their performances. The major character in this movie, Perosola Balogun, was played by the phenomenal Omawumi Dada. She is such a beautiful and talented young lady, and I had issues with a lot of casts, which we're going to dive into, but not Omaomi. She was awesome. She's really good, and I'm glad she played the role. She did such a great job, embodied her role, showed all of the emotions. She was just beautiful to watch. So the next character I will be talking about is Ireti Balogun, who is the mother of Perosola. This character was portrayed by the phenomenal Shola Shobowale. She's one of the Nollywood legends that we have in Nigeria, and she did well, but I have one problem, and I think it's been consistent with a lot of her movies. You've seen movies like King of Boys. There's this overreaction that she always brings to the screen. As in, at some point, I was like, it's okay. She's good though. She's very good with her lines, with showing her emotions. She's just wonderful. And yes, killed her role, but the overreaction was a bit too much. It was a bit on the higher side, and I'm actually tired of every time I get to see her in a movie, I know there's going to be screams, there's going to be, oh, my baby. It's just so much. So let's talk about Chief Balogun. He is the father to Perosola and the husband to Ireti. This was played by Dele Odule. He did a great job. He was a bit soft. I don't know. I just feel like a man with this amount of wealth, power, and everything should be, up and doing, should be firm, not as soft as they made his character portray, but he did a good job. Just that I feel that someone else would have done better. So, this next character served me breakfast. In fact, I don't know if I should use the word worst, but his acting was terrible. In fact, I would say this is the worst. He was so terrible in this movie. The name of this character is Victor, and it was portrayed by Tayo Faniran. I don't know what this guy was acting. No emotion, no passion. In fact, it was giving robot vibe. It was more like it was a robot giving a script just to read it out. I've never seen someone act so terribly in a long time like this guy. Yeah, I get it. They were looking for a tall, with beards, handsome guy because they were trying to portray the standard woman, man, how the society views a very handsome man. And Tayo is very handsome, I must say. But there was no character development. There was no emotions, nothing at all. In fact, it seemed like he was flowing more when he speaks Yoruba. Is it that he speaks Yoruba more in real life? I don't know. But his character, he needs to go back to his drawing board and do something better. It's a no-no for me. Let us talk about the producer of this movie, Mercy Aigbe. She portrayed the role Moturayon, and there was a lot of shouting, there was a lot of recklessness. She talked too much, she shouted a lot. And there was a statement she made in the movie, which I would get into much later, where she said, "You useless Igbo man." I'll get into that later because that line, no matter whatever it is you're acting, it wasn't necessary. But we'll get into that. She nailed her role anyway, just that she shouted a bit too much. We know it's your movie, but I beg, don't come and be shouting in our head. Thank you, ma. Chinwe Talago. Chinwe Talago played the role Uncle Ndubisi. I was super excited to see Chinwe Talago in a Nollywood movie again. It's been a long time. It's been a while. You know, I grew up watching him say things like "Ekwensu phone number." In this movie, that was what I used to start the review, where I said, "Hey, Ekwensu Adangwolo." It was good to see him, and not just see him again on our screens, back with his side talks that was really funny at some point. In this movie, it was Ekwensu Adangwolo, and that means the devil has been crippled. Yeah, Chinwe Talago played a good role and he delivered his character well, very well actually. It was good to see him again, to be honest. It was really good, and I'm urging Nollywood producers, directors, executive producers, please, we want to see more of Chinwe Talago on our screens. Gives us smiles, and we deserve it, we do. So let's talk about Ifeanyi. Ifeanyi was played by Charles Okafor, and he did a good job. At some point, he was shouting and being non-apologetic when he actually should. When we get into other parts of this review, you would understand why he should not have been shouting or being so firm at some point. But he nailed his role. He did a great job. The crying scene, though, the crying was giving laughing. It was giving smiling with tears. I'm sure he's not so much of a crying person, but regardless, he did a great job too. The movie Ada Omo Daddy left us with a lot of questions. A lot, in fact, a truckload of questions, and I will be highlighting just a few of them. If you've watched some of our reviews, you would realize that I've said it over time. As a director, as a producer, do not end up giving us a movie that would leave us with a lot of questions. That is one of the oversights that you should not have as a director or as a movie producer. Let us go to the first question. How did Ifeanyi get the phone number of Perosola? The movie says that he's been trying to connect with her over the years, and the mother refused. And then all of a sudden, when the video of her proposal and her wedding goes to the internet, and everybody sees it, you see it, you realize this is your daughter, and boom, you just get her number. This lady is the daughter of a billionaire. You don't get people's numbers, those kind of people's number, casually. So how? You didn't even get her office number, or let's say you pretended to be a customer. You called her direct line. How did you get the number all of a sudden? We don't know. Second question. It seems like the entire movie was compressed. You know, where you are trying to compress a storyline so that it will enter. Because a lot of things happened in one day. So what I'm thinking is it that the costume department does not have a lot of costumes, so they are trying to make them wear the same attire for one day? So how is it that in one day, a dispatch rider delivers pictures to Perosola? That same day, Perosola goes to approach her mother and her auntie to ask questions. And the same day, the mother and the auntie goes to see Ifeanyi. Usually, yeah, you should have called Ifeanyi, when will you be free and stuff like that. But all of a sudden, boom, they are at Ifeanyi's house, like they just appeared there. Secondly, how is it that Perisola calls her biological dad to say, oh, I'm coming, I want to see you. And in less than an hour or two, the father is able to gather cultural troops, print banner, bring like an actual welcome performance in less than an hour or two. That wasn't realistic. In real life, how do you even design the banner to start with, or even print it, and then call the cultural troops, tell them that your daughter is coming in one day, in less than 2 hours? How is that even obtainable? That is one of the questions that I have on this movie. So the next question is, there was a conversation about bride price. Was the bride price actually paid? Was it returned as Ireti mentioned? The movie doesn't give us an answer. If you know that you're not going to go to the bottom of it, then why bring it up in the first place? Ireti is saying, oh, you took your bride price back, and then Ifeanyi is saying, no, we did not. And you didn't tell us if Ireti was lying or Ifeanyi was lying. You just left it hanging in the air. That's the third question. Fourth question, the story says that Ireti ran away from home. So how is it that she has half picture and Ifeanyi has half of it? When did they split the property? What happened? Because the story does not tell us that they left amicably or something. So how is it so convenient that she, took half of the picture and Ifeanyi took it? It was just too convenient, actually. Too convenient. Perisola needed 1 million naira to buy a fabric from her auntie's shop or her auntie's boutique, and she called her father for the 1 million naira, and he says, oh yes, I would pay the money. Fine. So how is it that the brother needed 10 million and Perisola by herself, only her, gave him the 10 million naira? So if 10 million is something she could afford, why then call your father for 1 million? It's not realistic. So not realistic. What is the essence of Nkechi Blessing's character in this movie? Why that character? I don't know. It just didn't seem important or essential, and I don't think it should have been there in the first place. Who is she? Is she the wife? Is she the auntie? She was just a background character whose voice we never heard. All we did was see her shout at Ifeanyi, and we didn't even hear what she was saying. I couldn't pinpoint the essence of having her in the movie. So let us talk about costume, cinematography, set location, and the rest of them. Costume was, I would say, a 9 over 10. They did a very good job with the costume. They were very intentional, and that was lovely. Set location, set design was 100%. Every aspect of the set location was wonderful. They got the right props, the right apartment, the right office, the right everything. It was just good. I must give them kudos for that. It was lovely to watch with so much intentionality to details. That was great. I had a problem with the sound, because tell me why I'm watching a movie and I'm hearing the background sound more than I'm hearing the characters. The major concern is to hear what the actor is saying, right? But it seems like the audio editor of this movie, the major concern for him personally, in fact, he made it his own personal work, that the major concern is that we'll be hearing background sound. That is his own major concern. It did not concern him whether we hear what the actor is saying or what the actor is not saying. At some point I was confused. Is it from my earpod? I had to switch over to the sound system and it was still the same. I switched over to, okay, let me just watch it. It was still the same. So that means that is a major flaw in the production, because yeah, visuals, it's one of the important things in every production, but audio is as important as anything else, and it was just crazy. I must say, Ada Omo Daddy is not cinema worthy. To be honest, if I'm going to say in all honesty, it's not a movie that is worthy to be in the cinemas. The storyline is not a cinema storyline. Everything that has to do with it is given Netflix, and it's good that it finally came to its place, Netflix. What I would say is that yes, a lot of money was put into this, a lot of money, especially at the wedding scene. A lot of people came to that wedding, but it was not cinema worthy. I talked about Mercy Aigbe's character, that she made a statement that wasn't right, even though I know that this is a movie. It seems like she was trying to portray the Igbo culture in a way that wasn't good. Yes, the man who left his daughter and his wife was an evil person, Ifeanyi, but using the word useless Igbo man when it was not necessary. It was looking like you were attacking his culture and not his person. If a man impregnates a woman and decides not to take care of them, decides to cheat, decides to be a terrible father, decides not to care for his family, I don't think 100% he has a lot to do with his culture. You could still meet a Yoruba man or an Hausa man or an Efik or a Benin man. Any man can decide to be irresponsible with his family. Bringing his culture into it, making it look like it is only Igbo people that, do these kind of things wasn't good. One thing that people don't know about movies is that most times when you watch some things, it leaves a permanent memory in your head. Unconsciously, it leaves an impression in your head. So if you watch this movie, it will seem like they are trying to create the impression that Igbo people are terrible at being fathers and, it has a lot to do with their tribe, but it is not. Everybody should bear the consequences of their personal actions and not bring culture and tradition into it. That I'm a Yoruba person does not mean that if I'm a bad mother, it is general for every Yoruba person. Same applies to every other culture. It is a personal decision and has personal consequences. Also, why did Ireti slap Perosola? Why?
Daddy, why are you both making it about you? How dare you?
I don't think that slap was necessary because the fact that she realized she's been lied to all her life, the person she felt and believed to be her father was not really her father and nobody told her. Every other person knew except her. I believe she has the right to be angry, even though she overdid it at some point. But if I were the mother, I would give her the room to be upset, to do anything she wants to do. It's within her rights. Imagine waking up as a 30-something-year-old woman and then you're realizing that a lot of things that you knew or the things that you thought growing up were lies told to you. Please give her the time. Allow her to get upset. Allow her to say whatever she wants to say. It should be duly accepted. Though she overreacted, because the man that is not your biological father took care of you like he was one. In fact, took care of you more than your biological father. And that drives me to the question, if Ifeanyi realized that the wife and the daughter were suffering, would he had wanted to come back? To me, that makes him a gold digger. The movie portrayed that he was trying to reconnect with the daughter. He wants her to know that she has a father somewhere. That's his reason for wanting to reconnect all of a sudden after so many years. Imagine he realized that they were suffering, feeding from hand to mouth. In fact, the daughter is, in a very bad place. The mother is they are living on the streets. They are terribly suffering. Would he have wanted to come back? Because me, I've looked for the reason why he wanted it so much. I did not see. I think it's safe to say that he's a gold digger, basically. I would have loved to have a scene of reflection for Perosola when she left everything and everyone to go be by herself and think things through. I would have loved to have a scene and not just hear her say, oh, I went to reflect. Show us where she's in that room, she's thinking about it, she's crying, she's saying some things to herself. I would have loved to see that scene. It would make the characters sink more to us. There was no bond between Perosola and Victor. They are supposedly supposed to be in love, but I can't see any love. I didn't see anything love. I couldn't even feel love. The two of them are supposed to be the romance version of this movie. There was no romance. The love was not loving. In fact, best friends would have done better than what the both of them did. Kissing and holding hands is not all that reflects romance. There is the eye bond, there is the connection, there is the body language, some other things that we did not see. It just seemed like Victor is supposed to be the man and she's supposed to be the woman and they are supposed to be together because they are both from rich families. It just didn't sink in with me. In the crowd scene at the wedding, a lot of people forgot they were on set. They forgot they were in a movie. In fact, they left us in movie life and switched to real life. It was just crazy to see. They forgot they were inside a movie. How? So I know that, yeah, this is what happens when you bring people who are not actors and actresses to just fill in the gap as extras. But it's your duty as the director, as the videographer, as the producer to to let them know that, hey, in as much as it seems like your role is not significant, it is very much significant. Your gestures, your look, and everything. You don't need to have a mic on set to know that, oh, I have to know that no. Whether you are with a mic or you're talking or you're not, even if you're a passerby, pass it well as you're supposed to pass in real life. Cinematography with plan A, plan B, plan C, plan F, fire for fire.
This is the time for us to go to plan B. Bombardment.
You were just bringing plans that were not really big things. Let's switch to plan A. Oh, let's go to plan B. You will hear it and you think that they're about to do something big. They are not doing anything big. God, I beg. Cinematography. At some point he said, now let us switch to plan F, which is fire for fire. And then you're looking for the fire. Guess what happens? Police comes and picks up a fire. The fire we did not see. I don't know if police quenched the fire, but the fire did not fire again. I think the term plan A, plan B, plan, it was not necessary, since you know that it wasn't something big. So what are the lessons that the movie Ada Omo Daddy teaches us? First things first, if you are going to put out your stuff on social media, get ready to be exposed to a lot of things. Because how did he finally realize his daughter was from a rich home, enjoying life, if not the fact that Sparrow's sister was a social media person who blogs, talks about a lot of things, videos, everything about her life, eventually was capturing the engagement and everything. So if you are going to put yourself out on social media, get ready to be exposed to a lot of things. In the movie, it made Pero to actually know who her real father is, but in real life, it doesn't always end well. Secondly, you cannot be a terrible father and then appear all of a sudden begging for forgiveness. It's a total different thing to be a sperm donor and to be a father. That you got a woman pregnant doesn't make you a father. That you have a child with your DNA doesn't make you a father. You actually need to take care of this child that you brought into this world. So this leads me to saying that if you know you're not ready, don't even involve yourself. If you know you're not ready to be a father, instead of you to bring a child into the world that you will not pay attention to anything that has to do with that child, it doesn't really matter to you. You don't see it as your duty to protect and provide for this child, then it's better you don't bring them into this world. It's understandable that maybe your parents brought into the world and you had to suffer and suffer. Don't put it to the next generation. Don't bring a child into this world and make them suffer, make them go through hell, and then you are still bearing the title father. The title father comes with a lot of responsibilities, and if you know you're not ready for it, just leave it and still be a bachelor. That's better. That also goes for the mother. We're going to put a child in your womb and push them out into this world. Be ready for responsibility. In as much as Perosola's anger and overreaction was valid for me, I see a bit of ungratefulness, because there's a man who knows you're not his blood or his DNA and took care of you like you were, loved you right from childhood, has been there for you, and decided to retire and made you the heir to all the billions that he has made. And then you realize that he's not your father, and you are beginning to treat him like he wasn't a father to you, like he didn't really love you. In fact, he did for you what your biological father could not do. Hey, as I was seeing this movie, I was saying to myself, imagine I am Perosola. If I am Perosola, you see that biological father, he will go back to the village where he belongs. But for real, that bonding, trying to go and I won't even bother. To be honest, that's my own anger that I've been keeping inside. Let me say it out. If I am Perosola, if he knows where he has been all these years, he should go back there first. He should go back there, because you wanting to come and bond with me now that I am now the CEO of my father's enterprise, I am getting married, then you call me and tell me, now that you have known me, I want to be the one to walk you down the aisle on your wedding day. Hello. That is for fathers, not for sperm donors. But it's movies, and yeah, we are taught to forgive. Yeah, so I saw a bit of ungratefulness in Perosola, and I don't think that was necessary.